Two videos tonight. So trying to get through it. We shall see how far we get. It is not yet midnight, so we're getting there. Also, it takes forever to upload these videos, so just, man, it takes a long time. Like hours. Like hour and a half to upload each of these videos, man. It is annoying. I don't know what it is. I guess I'm using so much bandwidth, but oh boy. So yeah, that's why the videos take quite a while to get up. They actually usually get recorded, and then I'm like, well, I'm going to sleep now, or I'm just going to leave the computer on, and this will upload eventually. So yeah, and then sometimes it doesn't upload properly, and then we got to start all over, and it's super annoying. So here we go. So Ryan's team. Ryan picked ninth. Ryan had a draft. Ryan had a draft. So, ninth pick, Todd Gurley. Had Todd Gurley as my ninth running back. Even though I will say I had Dixon lower than Gurley. I had Dixon at 11. And, I had Dalvin Cook at 8, I want to say. But he's injury prone. Mixon is safer than Gurley. Gurley's been the number one fantasy running back the last 2 years. That's super great. Up until today with Elliot, he was the highest paid running back in football. That's super great. He has the number one offensive line in football. That's super great. The end of last year was not super great. I know. I had him on my team. He had a knee injury. Kind of just walked through the playoffs. C.J. Anderson came in and had more work and was more productive. It comes out, it's the same knee he tore his ACL in college. He has degenerative, cartilage. It's almost bone on bone. There's no cartilage left in the knee. All of this stuff. Now, all of those reports, I more or less don't care about, to be completely honest. Yeah, you can come out and say the knee's hurt. Yeah, you can say it's degenerative. He looked pretty fine to me. Yeah, okay, so in the playoffs he wasn't great, but that could be really any knee injury. That could be a meniscus tear. That could be Achilles, damaged Achilles. That could be high ankle sprain. There's any number of knee injuries that could go into. The telling thing was the draft. So first, well, not even just the draft, free agency. So first, Malcolm Brown, his backup, was a restricted free agent. So that means they can match any offer sheet given to him. The Lions gave a pretty decent offer sheet to Malcolm Brown. I think 18 mil. And then the Rams matched it and got Malcolm Brown. And then on top of that, in the third round, they took Darrell Henderson. That's a lot of capital to be using on running backs, man. That's a lot of draft capital and a lot of cash to be using on backup running backs. So he hasn't played all preseason. All those knee reports came out. Whether they're true or not, their actions are showing it's a concern. Gurley is so talented, though. If he can just get 15 touches, not even carries, but just touches a game, I'm happy because he's worth it. He is incredible. I don't know too much about the knee. You don't know too much about the knee. He might have a degenerative knee condition, which raises lots of red flags as to how did they not know that beforehand and why did they sign him to a monster extension like that without knowing that. But I digress. He's still an incredible player. He's still coming off 2 fantasy seasons where he was the number one running back. So to get him at 9, he hasn't broken down technically yet. Maybe this is his breakdown. It's worrisome. It's a risk. That's okay. I know you're talking about Elliot here. You didn't want the contract risk, so you took the injury risk. Funny how that works. But Gurley's a beast. We don't know what his usage will be. We don't know how the running backs will be. We don't know about his knee. There's a lot of unknowns, but I don't care. I like risk, so let's go for it. But still, I'm surprised. I'm surprised you took Gurley. Next pick, Michael Thomas. So he was my number 4 receiver. I actually had him ahead of OBJ, who I took. I believe if I remember, let me see if I can look it up. But if I remember correctly, obviously Hopkins was gone because Patrick had taken him. But I'm not sure. Tyreek Hill was still on the board. I had Hill as my number 5 receiver. Yeah, so I'm surprised you took Thomas over Devontae Adams and Julio, to be completely honest. But after taking Gurley, maybe you want to mitigate the risk. Thomas is the safest probably receiver among the top 5 because there's top 6, 7, however you want to put it. Antonio Brown, Juju, OBJ, all those guys in the same category. Thomas is the safest because he gets the most targets. He's a huge target share, like over a third, basically kind of like DeAndre Hopkins in Houston, only in New Orleans, which throws even more with Drew Brees. So he's basically bankable top 3 wide receiver no matter what. So super safe pick, super easy pick. I know you typically like going wide receiver heavy, so I wasn't surprised by this pick at all. Getting Gurley and Thomas in the first 2 rounds is a great start to your draft. After that, then you want to take the risk, and boy, that risk did not work out so far. You took Melvin Gordon, and you took Melvin Gordon before I got David Montgomery, before Marlon Mack was off the board, before James White, Mike Evans, Robert Woods, Mike Williams, Philip Lindsay. Lots of players. Lots and lots of players who are healthy and going to contribute on their teams. Unlike Melvin Gordon. At this time, he is holding out. At this time, he's looking for a trade. At this time, if he stays on the Chargers and he doesn't find a trade, he's going to be there till week 9? 10? I have to check. I know it's at least 8 games, but phew. I mean, yeah, he'll really help you in the second half of the season. If your season is not lost by then, you're not like 2-6 or something. I don't think it'll be that bad, but it's worrisome. So, yeah, cool. I get him in the second half of the season, but if I'm only getting half a season of a guy, he is not worth that. Melvin Gordon, it was not worth a 3rd-round pick. And it was kind of obvious, I mean, with everything with the negotiations, that he was not going to get a contract with San Diego. I mentioned in the chat quite a few times I wasn't taking Melvin Gordon in the first 5 rounds, nor was I taking Kareem Hunt in the first 10 rounds. And yet, somehow, I think both those things happen. I'm not really sure why. Yeah, Hunt went in the 9th round. He's out 8 games. Like, good luck navigating having to have a player staple to your bench half the year. Borderline undraftable. Just because of the bench usage that you're basically soaking up for half the year. Like, that's rough. So, I talked about it today. I think Gordon's in a good situation with Philip Rivers. I think he's incredibly average. I think he overplayed his hand. We won't get too much into it, but basically, it's a wasted pick. Because hopefully you get half a season. He might come back and get hurt, to be honest with you. So, yeah, I don't like the pick. I knew it was a reach. I got Gordon at like 34 among running backs because you're getting half a season out of the guy, if you're lucky. You took Amari Cooper next. I had Cooper as my 20th wide receiver. Now, this was the pick. I know Andre was looking at this pick, but to be completely honest with you, I traded for Amari Cooper. Did not like Amari Cooper. Why did I not like Amari Cooper? Because most of his points basically came in 2 monster games. And other than those 2 monster games, he was bad. So, like, Andre complains about Julio Jones, but Julio Jones is consistently very good, and then he'll have monster games where he is excellent. So, Cooper had these 2 excellent games, and then he was just like 3 points. He was very bad. Very, like, below replacement level. It was not fun. So Elliott's back now. That's not good. Dak Prescott's the quarterback. Is Amari Cooper the number one receiver in Dallas? Yeah. Is Cooper going to get a ton of work as the number one receiver in Dallas? I don't know. You don't know. I mean, he got some work last year when that happened, and he's looked pretty good. And he plays in an easy division. But, I mean, he's talented. They trade a first round pick for him. I like him. I'm not. He ended the season so bad. Like, I don't know if they're going to feed him enough, I guess is the issue. Um, they might. They might surprise me and feed Amari Cooper enough, but Dak dinks and dunks, just underneath routes. He doesn't do far. That's why Des Bryant got cut. Um, I don't know. I don't really like the pick just because there were other wide receivers on the board that I like more. I got Cooper as my number 20 wide receiver, so he's just on the cusp of being a top 20 receiver. I think he's good. I think obviously he can have a monster game or two, but this offense is a run-heavy offense. I don't like betting on wide receivers in a run-heavy offense. I think there were better players to be had. Diggs, Keenan Allen. You could have taken Eckler, Galladay, T.Y. Hilton. I mean, yeah, those guys have kind of the same thing, but I don't trust Dak Prescott as the quarterback, man. I don't trust it. Then fifth round. So we feel like we got our two running backs, even though Melvin Gordon's sitting out. So I guess that's why we're going Evan Ingram. I don't hate Evan Ingram. He's the number 4 tight end for me this year. But I don't like taking tight ends in the top 5 rounds. I know that's like a Robbie thing and like a Charlie thing. And yeah, I know you won your championship running double tight end, but I will say with OBJ gone and there being no real talent for the Giants, like Golden Tate is suspended 4 games. Corey Coleman blew out his knee. I have Sterling Shepard. He has a hurt. He like broke his thumb. So like, yeah, Ingram's gonna get the ball a lot. I get that. So I guess maybe that's worth it. I don't like taking tight ends high, but especially because the value, because you don't have Melvin Gordon, so you need a running back. But you took Ingram. He was the best tight end on the board. I like him. He'll put up good numbers, but I don't like it. I don't like taking tight ends this high. I don't know why people do it. It doesn't work out. It never works out. Like, it's just super obvious it doesn't work out, and yet people just do it over and over again. So, whatever. How in the world does Peyton Barber go higher this year after we know exactly what he is after last year? I don't know. You needed a running back, so Peyton Barber's now your number 2 running back. I mean, there you go. You got your running back. He's our starting running back. That's really all I can say. He's not exciting. He doesn't have speed. He doesn't have vision. He's more plodding. He's just a guy who gets the ball. So you got the 34th ranked running back in Melvin Gordon. I have Peyton Barber as the 33rd ranked running back in fantasy football. That's your number 2 running back now, just kind of like me after freaking Royce Freeman was not good and Leonard Fournette went out. Boom. Peyton Barber was my number 1 running back, and it was horrible. I started 1-6. That is a terrible thing I wish on no one. So, yeah, I don't love the Peyton Barber pick, but you needed a running back. He's the starting running back, I suppose. It's not like there were other running backs on the board, really, after that. I mean, Ronald Jones went in this round, and he's also in the Bucks, and that was just, I guess maybe Balaj, Singletary, Breida were still on the board, so I'm surprised you took Barber, but he's a starting running back. That's really all I can say about it. Uh, then you took Allen Robinson, so also the 33rd ranked player at his position, though he's 33rd for a receiver. I guess you wanted Robinson and you were targeting him, and that's why you liked him. You took him in the 7th round. I mean, I like Robinson. He's a quality player. Allen Robinson's a quality player. He's the number 1 receiver on the Bears. He's going to help Mitch Trubisky. I just don't trust how accurate Trubisky is. And I guess Robinson is your flex, unless Justin Jackson's your flex. I don't really know. But I know Robinson worked really hard to come back from his injury, and this is year 2 from that. So I think that if he's fully healthy, he can really help them. I know a lot of people liked Anthony Miller last year in the slot, but Robinson's the most talented player, and it's not all that long ago Robinson was having a monster year with Blake Bortles as his quarterback. So I may not like Trubisky, but my goodness, Robinson has worked with less talent and been successful. So, yeah, I mean, I like Allen Robinson. He's a solid player. He's a good wide receiver. I had better ones on the board, but if that's where you want to go, that's what you're going to do. You're going to do that. So yeah, I mean, I like the pick. I like Robinson. I was looking at him possibly. I just didn't think he would contribute as much as I would have liked in the 7th round, especially because again, I like hoarding running backs. Here's a good pick. You took Justin Jackson, so to back up your Melvin Gordon pick, maybe Justin Jackson's your flex, maybe Allen Robinson's your flex. Maybe you pull Peyton Barber and put him at flex, and then put basically Jackson at running back. I don't really know, but Jackson was a good player at Northwestern. They believe in him. They're fighting Gordon. Eckler's still the starter, but I think it's a timeshare. I like Justin Jackson's talent. There were times when he looked like the best running back on that team, to be honest with you. So, to get that value, gosh, what round was this? 7th? This was 7th round? Yeah, 7th, 8th round? I don't really know how he slept to you that far, but yeah, Jackson's a good player. He's quality, especially with Gordon out. You needed some of that coverage. I would have liked Eckler more, but it's fine. But yeah, he's going to split the work with Eckler. And while he's not much of a receiver, like Eckler can catch the ball out on the perimeter, he can't. He's more of a bruiser down the middle. He's good at his job, and he runs hard and with authority. So I appreciate Justin Jackson. I think this was a good pick. I have him as the 41st running back, but with us knowing Gordon's out now, I would move him up. And so, yeah, I don't know who you're playing at flex, but at least you had some coverage for Gordon with Justin Jackson. After that, you took Jamal Adams, top safety. After that, you took Cam Newton. So I like Cam Newton this year. I have him as number 6 quarterback. I don't think I'll stay healthy the whole year, which is an issue usually. But that's not to say Cam Newton's not a good player. Cam Newton's great. If he's healthy and running the whole season, he's usually a top 5 quarterback. So I have him as number 6. So 10th round, yeah, I took my quarterback in the 10th round. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was something in the water, but yeah, everybody was just chasing quarterbacks then, and I appreciate everyone waiting until then, to be honest with you. So yeah, Jackson, Breeze, Cam Newton, Garoppolo all went back to back to back to back. It's pretty crazy. But yeah, good pick there with Newton. You took DK Metcalf then, who was hurt. He's on the Seahawks. I mean, the Seahawks are a pass-heavy team, and even though they used a first-round pick on Metcalf, I don't really want to hold a hurt rookie wide receiver on my squad unless I'm throwing him on IR, to be honest with you. So I don't know what you're doing with that, but I had him like the 54th wide receiver. There were much better players still on the board. I'm not sure why we did that. We took Roquan Smith with the Bears. good player. Jamison Crowder's a nice find. He could be the best receiver on the Jets, to be honest, even though I really am high on Robbie Anderson. Darnold might not get the protection. He might have to hit the slot man a lot. And Crowder's been a very good player. He's very quick at the underneath routes. I like him quite a bit. So that might be a good flyer on someone late. 43rd wide receiver. So Metcalf's 54th wide receiver. Crowder's 43rd. Don't know the Metcalf pick at 12. Frank Clark will be quality, replacing D Ford in Kansas City. Got his contract, good player. Kickers don't matter after that. Your last two picks don't really make sense to me. Jordan Reed always gets concussions. I don't know why we took him. So he's the 22 tight end. And then you took Derek Carr to be your backup. There were definitely better players on free agency or available to take, whether it's a second tight end or some running back, because now people are picking up running backs on waivers right now as I speak. But yeah, I don't really get the Derek Carr selection at all. There are better quarterbacks still available than Derek Carr. I don't know why we did the Derek Carr experiment. You can cut him. So I made this relatively short, as you can see. This one's under 30 minutes. It's not even 25 as of yet. I just kind of ran through it. I am a bit tired, but also because I don't really love this team. There's not a whole lot to say, especially the Melvin Gordon pick. It just doesn't sit right with me. Before, I would say this team was 8th, but with Patrick getting Singletary and McCoy, it's pretty much a toss-up between those two. But I would say this is the 8th best team in our league. Ryan has a lot of work to do, as expected, just because, his receivers are good, and he has some depth at receiver, but man, oh man, if between the three of Gurley, Barber, and Justin Jackson, that is your trio of running backs at this time. That's not good. That is very little depth. That's brittle depth. Barber's never been hurt. Jackson's never been hurt. But Gurley's been hurt quite a bit in the last year. I don't know, man. That's not a lot of depth. That's dangerous. You're playing a dangerous game. I know you'll be good at free agency, but you might want to pick up someone for Carr. Derek Carr, if you think Derek Carr is worth a roster spot, you do you, man. But I picked up another running back today because it's barren. It is very barren. You want to make sure you're at least somewhat prepared. But overall, C plus? Nah, probably a C. You remind me of Brian's team quite a bit. Just high risk, then safe, to high risk, then safe. Just kind of all over the board. I don't really know why we took Evan Ingram in the 5th, taking tight end. I don't really know why we took Melvin Gordon. Anyone who was taking Melvin Gordon in the first 5 rounds, I said was going to be made fun of. So, I wasn't going to do that. I was going to do it with Elliot, but definitely not with Gordon, because his team does not seem interested in re-signing him, and they're just posturing now, and they don't like each other. I think my advice to you for maybe next time to keep in mind is you like to go wide receiver heavy, and that's a thing, but you might want to just play it a little more safe with your running backs if that's the case, and hope your receivers upside basically comes out right rather than your receivers. Because Gurley and Gordon as your top 2 running backs is a dangerous game, especially because you only got one of their handcuffs, and it wasn't even the main handcuff. He didn't even get Eckler for Gordon. He had Justin Jackson, who I like more than Eckler, but Eckler's still the guy. And you didn't even get Gurley's backup, Darrell Henderson, which I don't know why. That could have been really handy. I don't think you need Peyton Barber's backup. Ronald Jones sucks. But still, having Peyton Barber as your number 2 running back is a terrible position to be in. I hope you work free agency. I hope you cut Carr. I hope you figure out this mess of a running back depth team. But, in other places you have a good team. And I think, Newton, Gurley, having Michael Thomas, having Evan Ingram, having Amari Cooper, that's a decent core. It's not the best core in our league, but it's a decent core. So I think this team can make the playoffs, obviously. I just think Ryan, I don't know, the last few years you've had a tough time, and I think it's because of stuff like this where you're just not taking enough running backs, and then you get hit by injury, and it just bites you hard. So just be careful. But I mean, overall, I like your core, and you have quite a bit of, you have some boomer busts with like Cooper, and Gurley. So hopefully it doesn't go bust. But this isn't a bad team. I think you did a decent job. I like the team for the most part. Just I got burned, and I wouldn't even say burned by Peyton Barber. Just it was a miserable time having to trot out Peyton Barber, man. So I hope that doesn't have to happen for you, but it is. So you just got to go out in free agency and find some depth because this team is missing some depth. It's missing some things. There's some things this team could use. But I hope Gurley's healthy the whole time and you really run amok of everyone. But yeah, overall, not a bad draft. Just average. But yeah, I'm going to go to sleep now. I got 2 videos done, but I don't know when this one's going to be uploaded because the other one's still uploading like an hour later. I kind of ran through this one, but there wasn't a lot to say on Ryan's team. It's very vanilla. It's very straightforward vanilla. Just like super risky, safe, super risky, safe, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, Ryan, just, for next year, maybe go for your all, like, wide receiver heavy teams. I think if you're going to center your team on the receivers like you usually do, just fortify it with, like, some solid, like, running back, so you don't have to get the number 1 uber running back. Mixon would have been the safer pick because he's relatively healthy. You don't know if Gurley's going to be healthy, and that's not good. But yeah, that's all I really have to say. I'm going to go to sleep now. We'll see how many videos I get. I know I'm not doing any videos tomorrow because, the Bears-Packers game. I don't know when I'm posting this, so whenever. Bears-Packers game is Thursday night. Tonight is Wednesday night. But yeah, that's everything. So, C for Ryan. 8th team. Might switch with Patrick at 8 or 9. It's pretty close. But, yeah, you got a good core to begin with, but you're just, man, that running back depth's going to come back and bite you in the butt, like, real hard if you're not careful. So, yeah, be careful, Ryan. Get some running back depth, bro.